Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope I'm audible. So we are live right now. Okay, so welcome back to this amazing platform of TUT Learning. I welcome all of you. And if you're new to this particular channel, then most probably you're soon going to like the content and you're going to definitely subscribe to the channel. Okay, so before we start, let me introduce to this particular content. What we are discussing over here is that every day on this particular platform, we are coming live and we are discussing each and every topic of maths, physics, and chemistry for the upcoming JEE mains examination and JEE advanced examination for the year 2026. So, if you are currently in class 11th or class 12th, you can make the best use of these particular resources in order to get started with your preparation. With this content, I can guarantee that if you learn from this particular content, if you try to solve these questions with me in the classes, I can be assuring you that you won't be having any difficulty in order to solve any different types of questions once you are solving any previous year question as well. So every day we are live on this particular platform and while we are training for the upcoming examination, right? So in these sessions we are discussing the concepts, we are discussing the questions, we are also discussing how the different types of question has been asked in the previous year questions as well. So all of this we are going to do in this particular session, right? And this is kind of a like a concept video as well as practice of the questions video, right? So we are going to have both of this. We are going to revise the concepts, we are going to also solve some questions in order to see and how we can understand that what kinds of questions can also come up in your upcoming exam as well. So, okay, so with this let's get started. So you can understand these particular sessions are kind of a one shot sessions. Okay, so I won't go and cover all the concepts in detail, but what I'm going to do is that I'm going to revise the concept quickly so that we can start on solving the questions. Okay, so you can consider this kind of courses as a crash course as well. Okay, if you want to get enrolled in a complete batch where you get complete information about the concepts, about questions, you get understanding, you get examples, mock test, all that, you can enroll with our live batches. So here is information for our live batches. We are going to start this live batches very soon for the upcoming JEE mains and advanced 2026 and 2027. If you have any questions regarding the online batches, you can always contact on this particular number that is given over here. Please note that the monthly fees is starting at just rupees 999. Okay, so it is a group tuition, or if you want to take one-on-one classes, you can always take that. I know that sometimes when you take classes for like any other platforms or online classes, there you actually are sitting with a lot of students. So sometimes if you have questions, your questions are not basically visible to the tutor or the educator who is basically teaching you, right? So in that problem, what the problem is that in that case, students generally have confusion over a particular topic. That particular confusion builds up with time, and over a period of time, when those confusion keeps on building up, you basically lose your motivation to basically continue the chapter, and that actually happens with lots and lots of students. So in order to avoid that, I would suggest going for one-on-one tuition. We offer one-on-one tuition, okay, as well, where you can learn with us, where you will be there on the other side and I will be there helping you out with your concepts as well. So in any case, if you feel any difficulty like which you were very much hesitant to ask in a general class of a 30, 100 or 200, 1000 students, you are hesitant to ask that question. We won't be hesitant to ask that particular question when we have a one-on-one classes. All right, so that is very much about the one-on-one classes. So if you want to get more information about this one-on-one classes, you can always contact this particular number over here, right? You can contact me and my team on this particular number. Please note this number, and in case you want to get enrolled for these classes, please give a call. Okay, our team will catch up from here. And if you want to get what is the schedule, what is the upcoming timetable of these batches, you can always contact on this number and get more information about it. So with this part, let's get started. So today we are basically going to revise some of the important concepts about limits, and along with the concepts we are also going to solve some of the important questions that I feel that is very important in order to grab the basic part. I hope this is clear to all of you. Please let me know if you have any questions so far. Any questions so far? Do you have any questions so far? Okay. In case you have any question, please feel free to put the question in the comment section or the live chat. Okay, I will try to answer your live comments in as we move with the session. Okay, and in case you're watching the session after the live class is over, you can always put your questions in the comment box after the live class is over. Okay, so saying all these things, let's get started. All right, so let us see how we basically try to go over these kinds of limits over here. Now, general point of note, let us try to quickly revise the important limits formulas. That is basically, generally, these limits are very important, that whenever you have a trigonometric limit like limit extending towards 0, sin x upon x, this particular limit is equals to 1. Similarly, limit extending towards 0, 1 minus cos x upon x square, this is equals to minus of 1 upon 2, the limit extending towards 0, tan x upon x is equals to 1. Now, one more thing to note over here, because generally students have this confusion in their mind that the limit of sin x by x is also 1 and tan x by x is also 1. That basically means that sin x and tan x are computably equal or not. That is a very important question. So please make sure that you know that sin x is less than x, it is less than, and x is less than tan x. Okay, so this is a very important inequality of trigonometry that you need to have in mind. Okay, in case you want to prove this result, I am very happy to help you out with proving this result. Okay, and the theorem that we're going to use while proving this result is something called as the sandwich theorem. Okay, even if we don't use a sandwich theorem, then also I can give a very nice proof as well, which is called a geometric proof. Okay, so maybe in some of the classes I can show you how you can prove this result as well, right? So let us try to see how we can solve this question over here. Similarly, along with this trigonometric limit, some of the logarithmic limit and exponential limit is also very important. That is, if you have exponential limit like this, it is equals to 1, and limit extending towards 0, if you have log of 1 plus x by x, it is also equals to 1. Okay, so please keep all these things in mind, and this is log base e. Okay, please keep all these things in mind in order to start to get to solve this question. Okay, so let us see how we can solve this fraction over here. So first and foremost thing, what you can see over here looking at the question is that it is asking about the limit extending towards r positive. So this is basically talking about the right hand limit. Whenever it is talking about r positive, it is talking about the right hand limit, right? Now let us see how we can simplify this question so that we can be very easy with working with the data. Okay, so if you look at all the forms of the product is there present in the numerator as well as the denominator are of the either the standard forms. Okay, so we can use this to reduce it to the standard form as limit extending towards 0 positive. What I can do over here is that I can write this tan of 5x whole to the power 1/3, and if I divide it by 5x to the power 1/3, and then I multiply with it because I'm dividing it. So then in this case, the advantage is that I'm having to get this fraction and with the limit part going to 1, right? So that is my idea behind converting this and multiplied with natural log of 1 plus 3x square whole divided by 3x square, and then whole divided by, then we have here tan inverse, and tan works the same way, so don't worry. So tan inverse of 3 root x by 3 root x whole square over here and multiplied with 3 square, that is 9x, into, and this will be like e to the power 5x to the power 4 by 3 minus 1 whole divided by 5x to the power 4 by 3, and we have to also multiplied with 5x to the power 4 by 3. Okay, so that is what you will have. So in this case, this result is going to 1, this is going to 1, this is also going to 1, and this is also going to 1. So ultimately we are left out with some of the, with the limit which is very similar as, with the limit x tending towards 0 positive, and it is basically, so you will have in the numerator 15x to the power 7 upon 3 divided by, in the denominator is left out as 45x to the power 7 upon 3. So interestingly, we will see that this result is going to be a finite result, and we will have the answer as 1 upon 3. We'll have the answer as 1 upon 3. So therefore, the limiting value of this particular problem, the right hand limit of this problem, is going to be simply as option number C over here. I hope this question is clear to all of you. I hope this question is clear to all of you. So it is a very, very important step that you need to keep in mind, because this particular step you're going to frequently use in different questions of limits while you are reducing or simplifying your answers. Okay, so please keep that in mind while you are solving any general questions. Okay, all right, so please let me know if you have any questions. Please do let me know if you have any questions, or else we can proceed with the next problem as well. All right, is that clear to all of you? Is this part clear to all of you? Right, just try to understand the steps by step. Okay, so if you look at the problem, it is generally advisable that whenever you see a standard form, please try to get it to the standard form so that you can apply the limit, and that particular limit is simply equal to 1. So because it is very easy, if you just try to reduce it to the standard form so that you can get the standard forms and you can get the result as 1, and then you solve it, it will be very simpler for you. And then in that case, many times the question will be simply reduced to a finite answer. Okay, and that is finite value is basically the value of the limit. Okay, is that part clear to all of you? Great. Is that part clear? Please let me know in the live chat. Please let me know in the live chat if something is not clear or not. Okay, so let's move to the next problem. All right, so next problem is a quite an interesting problem, and if you look at the problem over here, it talks about that we have a differentiable function. Okay, it talks about that we have a differentiable function as f on the real domain. Okay, such that f of 2 is given as 1 and f dash of 2 is given as 4. Okay, f of 2 is given as 1 and f dash of 2 is given as 4. If this information is given to you, and then it is said that limit x tending towards 0 f of 2 plus x and whole to the power 3 by x is basically given as e to the power alpha, then you have to find out how many times the curve, that is y is equal to 4x cube minus 4x square minus 4 times of alpha minus 7 times of x minus alpha meets the x-axis. That means you have to find out the roots of y equals to 0, or this particular function, okay, meets the x-axis, right? That is what you have to find it out over here, right? How will we go about solving this problem, right? It's a very interesting problem, right? So generally what we do in whenever we need to find it out, that what is the form of the limit. Before we start to solve the question of limit, it is very important to analyze and understand what is the form of the limit, right? So how will I do it? If I put x equal to 0, into this, it is basically like f of 2 whole to the power 3 by 0, which is basically nothing but f of 2 is basically 1 and 3 by x, but 3 by 0 is basically going towards infinity, right? So it is basically the form of the limit is 1 to the power infinity. And generally when we have a form of limit as 1 to the power infinity, I'm writing the result over here. So whenever there is a limit such that extending towards some number a, let us say f of x and whole to the power g of x, and this particular form of the limit is 1 to the power infinity, then the result is basically very simple. It is e to the power limit x tending towards a, then we have f of x minus of 1 multiplied with g of x as it is. Okay, so it is basically the form of solution when we need to solve any questions of limit of 1 to the power infinity form. So let us see how we can proceed with this problem over here, right? So if we look at the problem, that is this function over here, and then if I try to apply the same thing, then I can write it as e to the power limit x tending towards 0, because, and then it will be like f of 2 plus x minus of 1 whole multiplied with 3a by x. 3 by x, right? Now if I look at this result over here, it is basically this particular limit which is in the power or the index, it is basically a 0 by 0 form. It is basically going towards a 0 by 0 form. So whenever we have a limit which is going towards 0 by 0 form, the most interesting thing that comes to our mind is by applying the L'Hopital rule. Okay, so if I use the LH rule or L'Hopital rule in short, okay, so it is going to be like e to the power your limit extending towards 0, and it is going to be like f dash of 2 plus x multiplied with, and so it is basically like I can assume this as 3, and this is basically 3, and then divided by 1, because differentiation of x will be 1, right? So this result, if I just solve it, this is going to be like e to the power 3 into 4 or e to the power 12. Okay, so what we have over here is that we got the value of alpha. So we got the value of this alpha. So alpha is coming out as 12. Alpha is coming out as 12. Once we get alpha, our y from there is basically 4x cube minus 4x square minus 4 times of 12 minus 7 times of x minus 12, which I can further simplify and write it as 4x cube minus 4x square minus, and this will be like minus 20 times of x and minus 12. Now if I take 4 as common, it will be like x cube minus x square minus 5x minus of 3. Now which I can easily simplify. So if you look at x equal to 1, if you try to satisfy x equal to minus of 1, it is generally the root. Okay, x equal to minus 1 is the root. So what I would suggest is that you can try to factorize this part out. Okay, factorize this part out by heat and trial, because you know that cubic equation factorization is very difficult. Okay, so factorize. So if you factorize this part, this is going to be like 4 into x plus 1 and plus minus 1, x equal to minus 1 is going to be repeated root. So x plus 1 whole square into x minus 3. Therefore, it will give you the idea that it is going to be like a cubic equation like this and like this. Okay, so it is basically intersecting and cut, like it is, you can call this as double root. Okay, or it is like touching the x-axis at one point and then cutting it at 3 again. Okay, so it is kind of graph like this, and therefore from this particular result you can understand that it is cutting the x-axis at 2 points. So therefore the answer to this question is going to be again option number C. I hope this part of the solution is clear to all of you. Please let me know if this solution is clear or not. Right? Harsavardhan, hello. Hello Harsavardhan, how are you doing? Are you able to get this answer as option number C? Harsavardhan, did you get the answer as option C? Harsavardhan, Ayush Pandey, hello. Hello Ayush Pandey. Answer C. Are you all getting option number C as the answer? Please let me know what is the answer you're getting. And also let me know that were you able to understand this question or not. Okay. It's a very simple thing. Were you able to understand this question? Yes. हाँ और आयुष पांडे क्या बोलना चाहते हो? आंसर ए. हाँ और आंसर ए. नहीं, आंसर ए तो नहीं होगा. क्यूबिक इक्वेशन है, इसका मतलब थोड़ी है कि हमेशा 3 जगह ही इंटरसेक्ट करेगा. नहीं नहीं नहीं, आंसर ए तो नहीं होगा. Because if you factorize this, it is having a double root. Okay, it is having same root at x equal to minus 1. X equal to minus 1 is a double root. Okay, it is basically, it is like touching the x-axis at one point. It is not cutting it. Okay, समझ में आया आयुष? आयुष समझ में आया कि क्वेश्चन में पूछा कि how many times it meets the x-axis. Okay, so it meets the x-axis only 2 times. ठीक है आयुष पांडे? Yes, no, कुछ फिर से देखो एक बार क्वेश्चन को, अल्फा का वैल्यू 12 आएगा एंड फ्रॉम देयर यू विल गेट अ क्यूबिक इक्वेशन लाइक दिस, ठीक है, और इसको फैक्टराइज करोगे तो इसका आंसर ऐसे ही आएगा। ओके, एक बार फिर से कोशिश करो। मे बी यू थॉट दैट क्यूबिक इक्वेशन तो 3 ही रूट होने वाला है, राइट? अच्छा, वेरी गुड वेरी गुड वेरी गुड आयुष पांडे, ग्रेट। ठीक है, ऐसे सिली मिस्टेक्स नहीं करना है, ठीक है। कभी कभी क्वेश्चंस में इंटरेस्टिंग वे में खेल जाता है, ठीक है, तभी। ओके, ग्रेट ग्रेट आयुष पांडे, बहुत बढ़िया। ओके, तो चलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे, ठीक है। अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन देखना, ये काफ़ी भी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन है। और इसमें बोला है कि एक फंक्शन है जो रियल नंबर्स, रियल डोमेन से, वो डोमेन भी इसका रियल है, मतलब रेंज और डोमेन दोनों ही रियल है। और बोला गया है कि दिस इज अ कंटिन्यूस फंक्शन, ओके, एंड इट इज सेटिस्फाइंग सम ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कंडीशन। दिस इज बेसिकली गिवन सो दैट यू कैन फाइंड आउट द कॉन्स्टेंट्स इन द फंक्शंस, ओके। तो अगर देखोगे क्वेश्चन में, तो क्वेश्चन में बोला कुछ ऐसा बोला गया है कि लाइक एफ ऑफ 0 इज 1। आयुष पांडे सर माई क्लास 11 वेस्टेड। आयुष पांडे ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं है, ठीक है। देखो क्लास 11 बहुत जनों का वेस्ट होता है, ठीक है। मेरा भी क्लास 11 तो उतना अच्छा नहीं था, ठीक है, ऑनेस्टली, ठीक है। बट फिर भी क्लास 12 में यू कैन स्टिल वर्क हार्ड एंड यू कैन स्टिल गेट सिलेक्टेड फॉर जेई, ठीक है। अगर तुम्हें फिर भी लग रहा है कि तुम नहीं कर पाओगे, तो मैं तुम्हें बोलूँगा यू हैव टू गो विथ सम स्ट्रैटेजीज, ओके। कुछ स्ट्रैटेजीज से तुमको बेसिकली पढ़ना पड़ेगा, ताकि क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास टाइम भी लिमिटेड है और इस कम टाइम में तुम्हें बहुत ज़्यादा चीज़ें कवर करना पड़ेगा। तुम्हें क्लास 12 भी करना है, तुम्हें 11 भी करना है, राइट। एक सज़ा मेरी ये होगी कि तुम क्या कर सकते हो कि यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट मी ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर नंबर, ओके। यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट मी ऑन दिस नंबर, ओके आयुष पांडे। You can contact me on this particular number, okay, and I will try to connect with you in order to give you more guide, personalized guide and solution, okay, कि तुम्हें कैसे पढ़ना चाहिए और कैसे कैसे करना चाहिए, ठीक है। और एक सजेशन मेरा जो ये होगा कि तुम एक काम और कर सकते हो कि तुम ये वाला बैच भी मेरे से ले सकते हो, ठीक है। बिकॉज what we are going is that because I am basically going to cover the JEE मेंस एंड एडवांस सिलेबस इन अ काइंड ऑफ अ क्रैश कोर्स, ठीक है। एंड मैं मेन कैसे कर पाऊंगा जी जी, बिल्कुल कर सकते हो आयुष पांडे, इतना सोचना नहीं है। सबसे पहले बात तो वो डर हटा दो कि 11th अच्छे से नहीं किया तो मेरा जेई नहीं हो पाएगा, ये डर हटा दो। और जो नंबर मैंने मेंशन किया स्क्रीन पे, प्लीज़ इस नंबर पे मुझे कॉल करो एंड यू कैन कनेक्ट एज वेल, ओके। एंड आई वुड सजेस्ट गोइंग फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर बैच, ओके। If you want to get some discount, maybe you can also get some discount with some like kind of a discount with this money. But yeah, but again I would say please take these batches because इस बैच की खासियत यह है कि हम जैसे पढ़ाएंगे ना, तुम्हें क्लास 11 भी समझाऊंगा मैं, तुम्हें क्लास 12 भी समझाऊंगा मैं। ऐसे नहीं करूंगा कि 12 भी सिर्फ पढ़ाऊंगा फिर 11 नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा। एक साल में मैंने तुम्हें पूरा वही चीज़ दे देना है कि जिससे तुम जेई मेंस और एडवांस के कोई भी क्वेश्चंस कर सकते हो, ठीक है। So trust us on this particular thing and you can join us with this batch, okay. If you want to get discount, you can definitely contact on this number. We can also provide you discount as well, ठीक है। ठीक है आयुष पांडे, ठीक है। सबसे पहले तो ये डर हटा दो कि 11th खराब हो गया तो जेई नहीं हो पाएगा, ठीक है। तुम डेफिनेटली जेई कर सकते हो, बस तुम्हें कुछ कुछ स्ट्रैटेजीज ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा। अगर वो स्ट्रैटेजी ध्यान में रख लेते हो तो डेफिनेटली यू कैन डू इट, ओके। ऑलराइट, सो लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस क्वेश्चन अगेन, ओके। या सो क्वेश्चन में क्या बोला गया कि देयर इज अ कंटिन्यूअस फंक्शन एंड इट इज सैटिस्फाइंग सम ऑफ द कंडीशंस, ओके। Also, it is satisfying a functional form that is defined given as f of 2x minus f of x is equals to x, okay. F of 2x minus f of x is equal to x, that is given for all x belongs to real number. Now आगे क्या चीज़ बाद में पढ़ते हैं, बट सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं कि if I replace if I replace x with if I replace x with x by 2 and let us try to find out what will happen in this particular functional equation if I replace x with x by 2. So if I replace x with x by 2, what I get over here is that I will get x, my f of x minus f of x by 2 is equals to x by 2. Okay. Similarly, if I keep on doing this step similarly, I will get f of x by 2 minus f of x by 4 is equals to x by 4, right? And if I keep on doing what I try to understand, this can also be written as x by 2 square, right? So let us consider this second equation, let us consider this first equation, right? और ऐसे में अगर करते जाओ till n, right? So I will get f of x by 2 to the power n minus 1 into f of n minus 1 minus f of x by 2 to the power n is equals to x by 2 to the power n, right? This is my nth equation. Now if I add all these equations, if I add all these equations, okay, if I add all these equations over here, if I add all these equations, then what you will see that this particular pattern, there is a pattern of cancelling. Okay, this thing is getting cancelled out. Okay, similarly this will get cancelled out similarly, and this part will get cancelled out, and you will be only left out with f of x f of x minus f of x by 2 to the power n, and this is going to be equal to, so if you take x as common, it is going to be like a gp, half plus 1 by 2 to the power 2 square plus 1 by 2 to the power 3 and so on till 1 upon 2 to the power n. Is this clear to all of you? सर मैं लक्ष्य जेई से पढ़ता हूँ. What is लक्ष्य जेई? What is लक्ष्य जेई? Yes, आयुष पांडे, तुम कहीं से भी पढ़ सकते हो, बट इफ यू वांट टू गेट पर्सनलाइज्ड ट्यूशन, बिकॉज आई नो दैट अगर मान लो तुम कोई कोचिंग से पढ़ते हो, राइट, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे बच्चे होते, तुम वहाँ पे होते कि सिलेबस इतना जल्दी जल्दी भागा जाता है कि बच्चे कोप अप नहीं कर पाते, राइट? तो वो चीज़ को कोप अप करने के लिए हम लॉन्च कर रहे हैं वन ऑन वन ट्यूशन. ओके, तो दैट्स वाई इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि अगर तुम वन ऑन वन मेरे से पढ़ोगे ना, तो मैं तुम्हें पर्सनलाइज गाइडेंस दे पाऊंगा. फिर मैं तुम्हें बोल पाऊंगा, अच्छा तुम्हें इसको ऐसे करना है, इसको ऐसे करना है, राइट? जो तुम्हें वो जो कोचिंग में जो जहाँ से तुम पढ़ रहे हो, वहाँ पे तुम्हें वो नहीं दिया जाएगा, राइट? बिकॉज अगर तुम कोचिंग में पढ़ रहे हो, वहाँ पे सारे बच्चे एक साथ एक ही चीज़ सुन रहे हैं, राइट? बट उसको टीचर को ऐसा पता होगा कि तुम्हारा इस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ पे लैग है और तुम्हें इस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ पे आइडियाज़ चाहिए, राइट? तुम्हें इस पर्टिकुलर चीज़ पे थोड़ा और ध्यान चाहिए. तो वो चीज़ पता करने के लिए क्या चाहिए कि यू हैव टू गेट पर्सनलाइज्ड ट्यूशन, राइट? एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग यू टू बेसिकली टेक दिस वन ऑन वन ट्यूशन. ओके आयुष पांडे? Okay, let's not break the question momentum over here, and let's finish the question. Okay, so once I do that, I will get a very interesting result, that is like f of x minus f of x to x by 2 to the power n, and that is basically equal to, now there is basically equal to, so if I take x as common or x by 2 as common, it will be like 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square and so on up to 1 by 2 to the power n minus 1, right? Now if I take the limit where n tending towards infinity, if I take the limit where n tending towards infinity, then this particular result will vanish towards 0, will tends towards 0, right? And in this case, you will be able to get the result, that is f of x minus f of 0, which is equals to limit x tending towards 0, x by 2, sorry, n tending towards infinity, x by 2 into 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square and so on up to infinity, right? Which is nothing but it is the sum of an infinite GP. So it is like an infinite GP. Okay, it is like an infinite GP, and if I calculate this, you will get the result, that is f of x minus f of 0 is equals to, for that limit will be equals to x by 2, and this will be like 1 by 1 minus 1 by 2, which is nothing but it is going to be equal to simply equal to x. Okay, which is going to be equal to x over here, right? So what you understand over here, and we already have the value of f of 0, which is 1. So therefore your g of x, okay, your g of x, this is basically g of x with the limit. Okay, you put the limit n tending towards infinity, this is nothing but g of x. So g of x is equal to x, right? So you have the result g of x equal to x, and then if you put g of r square, it is going to be simply equal to r square. So if you take summation of g of r square, it is summation of r square only. So that is basically, and your r is going from 1 to 10, right? So if we do this summation, you're going to get the result as 10 into 11 into 21 upon 6, which is nothing but is equals to 385. Okay, 385 is going to be the correct answer. Okay, so if you solve this, the right answer to this question is again going to be option number C over here, which is 385. So you can see this is a very simple problem. Okay, how did I manage to solve this problem in that particular sense? That is very, very important to understand that from where am I getting that idea. I'm getting the idea, if you look at over here, it is x by 2 to the power n. So I got the idea that if I replace x with x by 2, and if I keep on doing it and then I add it, so there will be a recurring series that is coming up, and the plus and minus terms is going to cancel out. Okay, so ultimately I will left out with the first term and the last term over here. Okay, so that is a very, very important idea. Please make sure that you know these kinds of idea. Okay, so please let me know if you have any questions over here. Yes, any questions? Any questions? Is this part clear to all of you? It's a very, very important question. Okay, it's a very, very important question, and these types of questions are very favorable for coming up in JEE exam. ओके, क्या सबका आंसर सी आ रहा है? क्या सबका आंसर सी आ रहा है? प्लीज लेट मी नो इफ यू आर गेटिंग आंसर सी और नॉट. Okay, I can help you out if you're not getting the answer C. I can help you to explain the solution as well. Okay, if I go wrong anywhere, you can please point me out as well. Okay, but I think this is correct only. Okay, it's a very simple problem. If you do the limit, if you replace the x with x by 2 and keep on doing the and taking the continued sum, you will get the result. Okay, right? Okay, great, amazing. So I hope this part of the solution is clear to all of you. And okay, any more questions? Okay, we can proceed with the next problem then. Okay, so the next problem we have with us is a very interesting problem again of the limits. Okay, now you will be very amazed to know that limits is a very important thing. Once you understand limits after function, I would say you have conquered the entire calculus. Okay, so if you are clear with the concepts of limit, the calculus is very simple. Okay, so if I let us see how we can solve this problem. Now, in order to solve this problem, I would say please consider using expansions. Okay, expansions will simplify your answer very easily. If you look at the problem over here, what you can observe is that you can see x minus 1 appearing in many ways, right? So if I consider x minus 1 as some variable t, so if I consider x minus 1 as some variable t, in this case I will left out with having the limit t tending towards 0 positive. In place of x tending towards x tending towards 1 positive, I will have t tending towards 0 positive, right? And my entire thing will change as 6 plus lambda times of cos t, or if I multiply with t over here, like cos t, and there will be t over here minus mu times of sin t. Okay, whole divided by t cube, and the result of this limit is given as minus of 1. So from here I have to comment on what is the value of lambda and what is the value of mu. This is a very standard problem. You can search up any previous JEE Advanced, JEE Mains paper. You will always have this kind of problem as well. Okay, so let us see how we can go about solving this. So first step, what I'm going to do over here is that limit x tending towards 0 positive, and then let us keep it as it is. Or if I take t as common, if I take t as common, if I take t as common, it is 6 plus lambda minus mu, and then I will have so okay, wait a second. So first of all, let me first of all expand. Okay, so let us not hurry up. So it will be like 6t plus lambda t into cos t. Now cos t expansion is given as 1 minus t square by 2 factorial plus t to the power 4 by 4 factorial and so on, right? Minus mu times of, and sine expansion is t minus t cube by 3 factorial plus t to the power 5 by 5 factorial and so on up to infinity, right? And whole divided by t cube. The highest power in the denominator is t cube, so you don't need to consider the powers higher than t cube. Okay, so you don't need to consider these things because ultimately they are not going to contribute, because once you put t is equal to 0, this is going to be 0. So you have to look for the finite answer, right? And that result is given as minus of 1. So if I try to solve it over here, and then if I club the lower power terms, the limit t tending towards 0 positive, it is like if I take t common, it will be like 6 plus lambda minus of mu, plus if I take t cube common, then it will be like it will be minus lambda by 2 plus mu by 6. Okay, because don't forget that you have a t multiplied over here. Okay, so t into t square will give you t cube. Okay, so and then continued product, which I'm not interested because highest power in the denominator is p cube. Okay, so and that result is given as minus of 1. Now, if the limit has to exist, this particular thing has to be equal to 0. This particular thing has to be 0 because otherwise in that case you will have 1 upon t square and that will go toward infinity, because and it cannot be infinity because again you will have to have a finite value of limit. So therefore your 6 plus lambda minus mu should be equal to 0. That is my first equation. And the second equation is this particular value should be equal to minus 1. Then only I will have the limiting value as equal to minus 1. So minus lambda by 2 plus mu by 6 is equals to minus 1 for my second equation. So if I solve this first and the two equation, solving 1 and 2, what I will get is the value of lambda and mu. So if I solve it, lambda is going to come out as 6 and mu is going to come out as 12. So therefore, lambda plus mu is going to come out as 18. So lambda plus mu is going to come out as 18. I hope this solution is clear to all of you. Again, we are going to have option number C as the correct answer. Okay, see, I don't know why, but all the option C's are basically being correct. Okay, so today's class we have solved a lot of questions today, right? So what is more important to understand is that it's not the questions. Okay, please try to understand the concepts or try to understand the basic philosophy behind how am I solving the questions. Okay, so with this all things, let us conclude our session over here. I hope you have enjoyed watching the session of limits, continuity and differentiability, and it's not just like a one shot, it is like a concepts as well as questions. Okay, so and this method of learning is very effective for students who have at least gone through the syllabus once and they are very much uncomfortable in solving questions. So it is very important that once you understand the concept, you solve one question. You understand the concept, you solve questions. So this is the method of studies that I want to incorporate in all of you in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so you are going to have more sessions on limits, continued differentiability. Okay, and we are going to solve a lot of questions, my friend. Okay, so if you're new to this particular platform, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out any upcoming notification regarding the classes. Okay, we are not only having maths, we are having physics, we are having chemistry, all in the same platform itself. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to never miss any upcoming notification. We are also going up with the classes for CBSE class 10, CBSE class 12. For board exam preparation, we are also starting up the classes. So if you're in class 10th, if you're in class 12th for preparing for board examination, this channel is going to be a gold mine for all of you. So with this thing, let us conclude and end our session over here. Thank you.